Welcome to City View for your close-up view of the city of Columbia. I'm your host, Leshia Utsey. October was a very busy month in the city of Columbia, and we start off with the 8th annual Mayor's Walk Against Domestic Violence. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month across our nation.
Unfortunately, we still have to have this event, but this is the 8th annual Mayor's Walk Against Domestic Violence, and it's so important that we as a community take a stand against domestic violence, and part of that is coming together and marching for victims and survivors of domestic violence and letting them know that it's not a crime against them, it's a crime against society, and we won't tolerate it.
This is my first event, but just walking up, I'm a little taken back by the attendance. It's wonderful. I think it couldn't be better timing considering the domestic violence trial, the homicide trial that we have going on right now. If there was ever an example of an abusive relationship and the result of that, tragic result, we have one here. But this is an opportunity for us to bring some awareness to very serious issues. South Carolina is one of the worst states ranking-wise in the country when it comes to domestic violence. We have an outstanding special victims unit with the police department and wonderful victim advocates. Our reported offenses are down this year, so it's we have some promising stats to report. But with that bad ranking, that's a lot of opportunity to improve. So we're looking to improve on that, and this is a great day to start that.
Well, it's very important. South Carolina has ranked in the top 10 ever since the Violence Policy Center has been keeping statistics on women killed by men that they know. And so this year, South Carolina is number 2. In the past, we've been ranked number 1 several times, but it's very disheartening to know that our state ranks so very high. And in times like this, we need to make sure that victims and survivors know that they're supported, but we also need to make sure that perpetrators know that violence of any kind is not acceptable. And so if we can continue to bring awareness around the issue, more people will step up and say, okay, it's not acceptable, and they won't condone it, they won't make jokes about it, they won't, they'll stop it when they see it.
Domestic violence, you have to focus on, I think, prevention and awareness. What's acceptable, which no domestic violence is. So we certainly can investigate and educate, but prevention is where the emphasis needs to be.
Well, our statistics show us that any of us could be a victim of domestic violence, and certainly we all know someone, even if we don't know that they are a victim, we know someone who is a victim of domestic violence. So it is just so important that women speak out, but it's also very important that men speak out, and that's why it's been great that the mayor, previously Mayor Bob Coble and now Mayor Steve Benjamin, have taken this on as an issue that they see it's very important. And now you see other men stepping up as well. The NFL and other male-dominated organizations are stepping up as well. So I think it's certainly showing us that it's not an issue that affects only one gender or only one race or only one socioeconomic status, but it affects everybody. And so, I think that our walk now in the 8th year has brought awareness around it, and we'll continue to bring awareness as much as we can.
In addition to the Domestic Violence Awareness Walk, Councilwoman Tamika Isaac Devine also hosted a Domestic Violence Awareness Advocates Exchange. It was an opportunity for those who work in victim services and those who are advocates for survivors of domestic violence to come together for one common cause.
So we certainly want to be able, for us at the city and those of us in the community, first to say thank you. Thank you for what you all do. South Carolina still ranks horrible when it comes to domestic violence, but I told someone earlier, we would be a lot worse if we didn't have you all who work every day making sure that the community is educated, that victims have resources, that survivors know that they can speak out and tell their story and help other folks. So without you all, we would be really bad, a lot worse than we are. So we wanted an opportunity to come together to thank you all for what you do, but also an opportunity for you to network with others so that we can hopefully continue this way to educate each other, to network, to understand what other people's positions are so that we can continue to help the victims and survivors and the families that we all serve.
But it's not every day that I get to say thank you to the women and men who deal with one of the toughest, deadliest issues of our time. Not many people could do what you do every day. It's physically, mentally, and emotionally draining to witness the devastation and destruction that survivors of domestic violence and their families face. And what about those women, those men, and those children who don't survive it? You are the true heroes, each one of you, in your own right.
October was also Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Columbia. And once again, the city hosted the Mayor's annual Isabel Law Breast Cancer Awareness Breakfast, which is a fundraiser to support survivors.
This is one of the most special events we do every year at the City of Columbia, where we have the annual Mayor's Breast Cancer Awareness Breakfast, making sure that we do our part as a city to uplift survivors, make sure that there are resources that we can contribute as a city and as a community to Bosom Buddies, which is a nonprofit that helps women who are suffering with breast cancer. As a city, we are a service provider, and there are things that we have to do as a city on a day-to-day basis. But these, I think, are the times when we can go above and beyond, and should go above and beyond, to promote such worthy causes as breast cancer awareness.
This is probably the most enjoyable event we do all year. To see the people of this, not just in the city, but all across this region, come together in this fight against breast cancer, I know not only warms my heart, but warms the heart of so many of the survivors we have out here, so many of the supporters of folks who lost the battle and gone on to glory. To see people come together, and every year we raise thousands of dollars at this breakfast, eating some meals that are healthy and some not so healthy, but fun. It's just a good way to come together and show that we don't all think the same, we don't all act the same, our lives are all very different. But on this issue, we come together as a community to show that we support survivors of breast cancer, that we are together in this fight against breast cancer, and it's something we're all very, very proud of.
Well, the City of Columbia and Mayor Benjamin, they support Palmetto Health's Walk for Life, Race for Life every year, and they've been doing it for several years in the past. And as you can see here, just the huge amount of support that everyone comes out and supports the Mayor's Breakfast, and it's just unbelievable the amount of people that come out each time to this breakfast and support it.
I think we want to encourage everyone, to always work together and support each other. And so all of us at some point in our lives are affected by something. Oftentimes, unfortunately, it's cancer, and we recognize as a city what we can do to just uplift the message, be supportive. And during this whole weekend of events with Palmetto Health's annual Walk for Life, it's such an appropriate time to bring awareness as a city the day before the big walk. So I think the main message is to get out, be active, support people that you know who are struggling with the disease, and just do any small thing that you can.
The message that we hope it brings is, obviously, it is by design here at City Hall, in the City Hall parking lot, staffed by the public servants of the City of Columbia, our police department, our fire department, our public works officials. They get up at dark 30. I mean, they're out here at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, getting ready for this, cooking some old-fashioned meals. I mean, it shows the people that that your city, and even more importantly, the people who work for your city, your neighbors, your friends, your fellow church members, that they care, and that when times are tough, we come together, we work together, we pray together, we fight together, and as we continue to fight the incredible scourge of breast cancer, we can defeat it, but we're going to have to defeat it together.
The main thing is all the funds stay right here in Columbia. So everyone in the Midlands and surrounding areas, if they come to Palmetto Health Breast Center, they can know that the funds were raised and stayed right here, so they're going to get help from their communities.
Living paycheck to paycheck is a reality, unfortunately, for a lot of Americans. It also is something that plagues some citizens within our community. In order to focus on financial stability, especially financial stability for women, Councilwoman Tamika Isaac Devine hosted Paycheck to Paycheck, a premiere documentary that was hosted at the NIC.
Well, this film is very important because the life and times of Katrina Gilbert are everyday people like you and me, and we really have to see that there's more that we can do as a community, as a country, to make sure that people are not living on the brink of poverty. And so many times we've got people who just are living paycheck to paycheck, and so I wanted to elevate the discussion so that we can think about what more we need to be doing as policymakers, as citizens, as a community to help people be empowered financially. What I hope that people who view this film will see is that that we are all in jeopardy of being on the brink of financial ruins. And one emergency, one sick child, anything could really put us in a bad situation. And so it's not a them versus us, it's we as a community. And I hope that people will, number one, will know if they're in a situation that they reach out and identify resources in the community that can help, but also that we support the resources in the community that help people get back on their feet.
One of the city's internal initiatives is a program that is focused on encouraging police officers to live in city neighborhoods. Recently, the Eau Claire Development Corporation partnered with the Columbia Police Department to schedule a special tour of homes for Columbia's police officers. The tour of homes was hosted in the Burton Heights neighborhood.
Well, what we're actually trying to do is just open the door for everyone to have the opportunity to kind of have the American dream, or a piece of the American dream, of owning their own home. We do realize with our police officers, they're so busy throughout the day that they don't get the opportunity to kind of slow down and take a look at amenities like this or homes like this. So thanks to Deputy Chief Kelly and our new chief, Skip Holbrook, they've agreed to allow their officers to kind of slow down for today and come through and visit and take a look at the great products that we have here in our homes in Burton Heights.
I think it's important for police community relations. You want to see the officers during their official capacity, but you also would like to have officers live in your neighborhood. As a police officer, a young police officer, I lived in the neighborhood that I worked in, which was a Waverly neighborhood, and it was good for me to see my community in another element, not in police mode, but in the mode as a community member as well.
Our city loan program is a great program for employees. Interest rates 2 or 3%, minimum down starting at $500 down. So it's a great opportunity, 30-year program. So it's a great opportunity to get long terms with a very low interest rate.
It's always good to work, play, and live all in the same location. So we're really encouraging officers to move into the city limits of Columbia and offering them some incentives to do that.
Not only are city officials concerned about public safety in our neighborhoods, but also about the safety of our student population in our city. Recently, Police Chief William Skip Holbrook hosted a meeting for local law enforcement officials and local college presidents and campus public safety officials to discuss ways to keep the student population safe in Columbia.
Well, I think that right now with the environment that we have all across the city, but particularly in a lot of our hospitality districts with the investment that's being made, a lot of student housing developments, commercial and retail investments that we're seeing built out across the city, it makes the public safety requirements even more visible, so to speak, for our residents and our citizens and business owners. They have to feel safe. There has to be that perception, not just the perception, but the reality that law enforcement presence is real and available to all citizens of Columbia. When we talk about students, there are a lot of challenges that are a little bit different that our law enforcement officials have to face, and so having them all in a room together, representatives from all of our colleges and universities, the student life officials and law enforcement, creates that environment where they can discuss those challenges and provide solutions with each other.
Well, to me, this solved, or didn't solve, this helped us address a couple of things. Number one, allowed us to kind of review what we're doing, to identify areas we may need to improve, but it also allowed us to kind of take inventory of all the different measures we're taking to increase public safety with our student population. I think it illustrated the amount of collaboration that's gone on within the public safety sector, law enforcement, but also with the administrators and policymakers within the universities and the city, our elected officials. Again, it's there's a recipe for success, and that everybody has an ingredient. So it's important that we're all on the same page, and I think this showed that we're being diligent, being innovative, and trying different things, but making adjustments when it's necessary. And obviously, everyone's very committed to enhancing public safety. So I think it was a very productive, meeting.
Well, I think that Chief Holbrook's approach is one of inclusiveness. He wants to work together across this region with not only Richland and Lexington counties and SLED, but also, because we are such a college town, with not only the flagship university and the University of South Carolina, but Benedict Allen, Columbia College, Midlands Tech. He wants to get to know and work with all of those law enforcement officials as well. That's how we can best get things done by, as he says, a lot of times having force multipliers, utilizing all of the resources of the different agencies. And when it comes to college students, a lot of times those individuals have even greater impact on those students than we can as a city, because they know that there are consequences for behaviors when it comes to how they act on and off their campuses. But we also know that we want college students to feel safe throughout our city, and that some of the dangers and risks that are involved are not created by the students. They're created by other factors off campus and certain bad elements that they might face when they go to a hospitality district. And we as a city take ownership of trying to make sure that we provide that safe environment for them as well.
What I've seen very consistent with what I saw with Marshall University. Kids are going to be kids, and I think it's important that we set boundaries, expectations, and I think it's important to humanize law enforcement with them, but they got to know what the rules are, and we can't move the line on them. We need to establish those boundaries and be fair and professional about what we do, but we've got to create, not just for the student population, for all our citizens, create that safe environment, create a perception of safety, and take measures to make sure that we have follow through on what we're saying we're doing.
During this time of the year, we are experiencing cooler temperatures, which makes fire prevention and fire protection even more of a reality for those in our community. Recently, the Columbia Fire Department hosted the annual Fire Prevention Parade and also took time to focus on fire safety for our community.
The parade actually kicks off Fire Prevention Week, and we're especially proud of Fire Prevention Week because it gives us an opportunity to reflect back on that great fire in Chicago years ago, and also is a tribute to those that fought that fire and those that lost their lives in that fire as well. So it's pretty exciting for us, for all the fire trucks from all over the Midlands, Richland County, Columbia, and just all over the Midlands come together for this great parade. We had about 70 pieces of equipment that participated in this parade from all over the Midlands. We had a truck that came as far as from Daytona Beach, Florida. I enjoyed the kids, watching the parade as the truck drove by, but I'm still a big kid at heart too, so I still love to see all the big trucks as well. So I just enjoyed the whole parade just the participation was just great. Like I say, and it's just opportunity just to see all the big toys that we have, and all the big toys that come from abroad. So we just like the whole gamut of the parade. Well, this week our theme is Working Smoke Alarm Saves Lives. Test yours monthly. And what we want people to understand is that, it's not good just to have a smoke detector. Make sure it's a working smoke detector. So we encourage people, if you have a battery-operated smoke detector, make sure that you change those batteries twice a year. And a good rule of thumb is, whenever the time changes, you change your battery. And make sure that you have the opportunity to get out, because as we know, a working smoke detector will give you an opportunity, if you have a fire in your home, to hear that alarm go off, give you an opportunity to get out of that house safely. Well, again, we just want to reiterate to remind people, be conscious about fire, about fire prevention. We kick it off around the month of October, so we're actually getting ready to go into those winter months where people are going to be using supplemental heaters, fireplaces, space heaters, kerosene heaters. So we just want people just to continue to be vigilant and be wise to, the use of those products. Everybody always says, is it safe to use them? I always say it's safe to use them as long as you use them safe and being careful for them. So just, like I said, we're going to the winter months, so be careful with those heating devices.
Thank you for watching City View. That wraps up this episode, and we encourage you to continue to watch City TV for all of the latest news and information from the City of Columbia.